Welcome to r/EntitledPeople, where this idiot thinks that a wedding doesn't count because the two people getting married are women. Sister wants my wedding because it doesn't count as I'm gay. This is so unreal to me that a person has this much audacity, but apparently my sister does. I, a 28-year-old woman, met my soon-to-be wife, Noah, when she moved to my country for work. She was freshly divorced, but has a little girl who is 5 called Lena. Lena is the sweetest, and it's been wonderful getting to know her. Noah divorced her husband after realizing she was gay, and he ran for the hills, stating he didn't want anything to do with her or Lena in case she passes it on, whatever the frick that means. I proposed to Noah 10 months ago, as I know she'd be too nervous to. It wasn't extravagant, I just asked her over dinner with Lena's blessing. We've agreed we want it simple and intimate for the wedding. Her first wedding was big and she hated it, so just family and close friends. My parents have offered to give us some money to help towards it, even though we've reassured them it isn't going to be a big affair. But they wanted Lena to get a pretty flower girl dress and wanted to pay for my dress and whatever Noah will wear, probably a suit. Enter my entitled younger sister Kate, who acts like she and her boyfriend are engaged, but he's too scared to actually ask her. She's the golden child, spoilt and gets whatever she wishes. She's made some remarks about Noah already having a child and being a divorcee, but I told her to lose the ignorance. Just because she decided to stay in our small hometown and not expand her personality doesn't mean she can say stuff like that. Over dinner last night, she started whining about how I didn't need any money, and she didn't know why we were bothering with a wedding when Noah has done it all before. This is something Noah is insecure about, so I get protective of her. Kate went on to say that she could reuse her first wedding dress and started cackling. Her boyfriend looked embarrassed, and my parents told her to be quieter, but no one said anything else. My parents have come to me and said it made sense to them if they give more money to my sister's wedding fund, as it will be her first and only wedding. They're not even engaged yet. Totally ignoring the fact that I've never been married. I told them to keep all of their money, as it wasn't welcome if they were going to shame my wife and stepdaughter. We are perfectly able to fund it on our own. Well, there we go, guys. What a way to start off today's episode with a little bit of homophobia. I didn't want anything else than that. I mean, that's brilliant. What a start. I thoroughly enjoyed that, as always. But hey, all I'll say is, in all seriousness now, all you can do is do exactly as you are doing. Pay for it yourself. Don't invite any of your family. I mean, the parents, if anything, enabling this behavior, absolutely disgusting. You expect entitled behavior. Sadly, you do, from certain people in the world. You really do. Look, I know it's 2023, but we all know that people are still homophobic out there, racist. People are just horrible. But from your own family, that is really, really mental. I don't really understand how that's possible, but hey, as I said, don't invite any of them. Just don't. Now for our next Entitled People story. Now this one is unbelievable and has a crazy twist at the end. My brother slept with and ran off with my ex and now wants an invite to my wedding, getting my parents uninvited in the process. I, a 24-year-old male, wasn't even going to make a post about this, but my brother, who I'll call Turk, made 4 posts about it. So I thought I should share my side of the story. Now the amazing thing about this, guys, is that OP has actually linked to his brother's posts, and we're going to get into them at the end. I'll use the same names he did for the sake of simplicity. My fiance is Maria and my ex is Jen. A little over 5 years ago, my brother started dating Maria, my now fiance. 3 months after they started dating, they set me up with her now ex-best friend, Jen. The 4 of us did a lot together since the girls were best friends. Turk and Maria dated for a year, and Jen and I dated for 9 months. At the end of our relationship, I came home early and found Turk and Jen having sex in my bed. After I processed the situation, I called Maria because I'd want to know if I was in her place. She came over and we confronted Turk and Jen. They dumped us, and I found out 2 days later, started dating each other. It broke me. I came home to find my brother screwing my girlfriend only to then run off with her. I had to move back in with my parents. It was infuriating because they kept talking about how happy Turk and Jen were. Throughout the next couple of months, Maria and I started talking. We were 2 people in similarly trashy situations, and we found some comfort in each other. So 4 months after we got dumped, Maria and I officially started dating. 6 months after we got dumped, Turk found out that Jen was cheating on him and she left him for another guy. I actually only found this out today from reading Turk's post. Maria would get the occasional message from Turk trying to reconnect, but she ignored him. Anyway, moving on to now. Maria and I are engaged and getting married in September. My parents were invited until my mum called me and threatened to not come if I didn't invite Turk. I told her to not bother coming regardless. In my mother's eyes, Turk can do no wrong. When he screwed and started dating my ex, I told my parents everything he did, and my mum tried defending him. Our relationship isn't the greatest, but it was somewhat decent. After I uninvited my parents, I only uninvited my mum, but my dad texted me and said he's not coming if my mum isn't. Turk blew up my phone trying to get a hold of me. This is the first time he's even tried reaching out to me in 4 years. Like I said before, Turk posted about the situation here on Reddit as well. And apparently my parents told him that Maria and I were getting married, and that started this whole thing of them getting uninvited. He stopped calling me, but he's blowing up my phone with texts, begging me to re-invite my parents and possibly give him an invite. So yeah, I just wanted to get my side out there. Okay, well that's frankly a ridiculous post. And as I said, we're now gonna get into Turk's post. Unbelievably, here we go. Okay guys, so remember that this is the previous OP's brother, Turk, posting on r/am-I-wrong, a new subreddit, one that I've not heard of. This looks interesting. Who says this: am I wrong for accidentally getting my parents uninvited from my brother's wedding? Back when my ex, Maria, and I were dating, we set my brother, Arthur, up with his ex, Jen, who was Maria's, I guess now ex-best friend. Maria and I dated for about a year, and Arthur and Jen dated for about 9 months. We constantly do things together since Maria and Jen were best friends. Out of our little group, my personality matched Jen's the most, which led to us getting close. I felt so comfortable around her, and we both had a moment of weakness. We were at a party, and we did the deed. We snuck around for about a week before Arthur and Maria found out. Jen and I decided we'd be better together, so we broke off our relationship and started dating each other. Jen and I dated for about 6 months, and it was amazing until I found out she was cheating on me and she left me for another guy. I was heartbroken. I thought I'd found my match. I kept thinking about how good Maria then was to me. In hindsight, she treated me way better than Jen ever did. I went to message her to beg her to take me back, but I decided to look at her Instagram pictures first, and that's when I found out that her and Arthur had started dating in the 6 months Jen and I were together. They've been together for 4 years now, and I found out from my parents that they're getting married in September. It hurt so much finding that out. What hurt even more was the fact that I didn't receive an invite. I mean, I know things have happened between us, but Arthur and I are brothers. We're family. When I told my parents I hadn't received an invite, they phoned Arthur and tried to get him to invite me. But all that ended up doing is getting them uninvited. I tried calling Arthur to get them re-invited and to get myself invited, but he didn't answer any of my calls. My parents haven't said anything, but I feel like they're mad at me for getting them uninvited from Arthur's wedding. So, am I wrong for accidentally getting my parents uninvited from my brother's wedding? And there we go. That concludes possibly the weirdest couple of posts that I've read on Reddit in a long time. I mean, back to back, people talking about the same event, just with totally different perspectives. All I can say is the brother, the one that I just read here. But what's wrong with you, my friend? Seriously, what's wrong with you? I mean, everything that you've just written there is just so ridiculous. It's crazy. You deserve everything that you got, and obviously you're not going to be invited to your brother's wedding. And also, it's not even your fault that your parents aren't invited, because that's their actions, right? So yeah, you accidentally got them uninvited, but they chose to side with you over him, even though you're the one that cheated with his girlfriend. I mean, it's just so crazy. Ryan Giggs, anyone? Ryan Giggs. Right then, now moving on to our next Entitled People post. I should have sacrificed myself for her. So I'm not entirely sure if this qualifies as an entitled parent or just someone who's mentally insane, but this just happened a few hours ago, so here goes. I am a 29-year-old man, and I work for a small hardware store in my city. I'm about 6'2", chubby, but still muscular from all the heavy lifting I do for work. Early this morning, me and, we will call her Nancy, who is 49, were at the store before opening to do inventory. It was about an hour before opening, and Nancy went outside to grab something from her car. She came back in a few minutes later, at gunpoint, with someone walking behind her. Now, I've never been involved in any kind of robbery before, aside from minor shoplifting attempts, so I froze in place. The gunman pointed it at me, telling me to keep my hands visible and to follow them. Nancy was technically the opening manager and therefore had the keys to the store and vault in the back office, so he held me up while she emptied it. He was gone in about 10 minutes, but it felt like an eternity. Our store doesn't have any kind of silent alarm, so once we were sure he was gone, I went and called 911. Now, after I get off the phone, Nancy comes up to me and asks, word for word, "What the frick is wrong with you?" I stare at her completely caught off guard and asked her what she was talking about. She proceeds to rant at me up until the police arrive. To sum up her rant, she basically said I was a pathetic excuse of a man for not protecting a single mother when I was in danger. I asked her what she expected me to do in that situation. She expected me to try and get the gun away from him so he couldn't hurt her. It was around that point that the police arrived to take our statements and ensure that we were okay. My actual boss is on vacation this week, but has given me the next 2 days off. Paid. I love that guy. That is to recover from the shock of the situation, and he said to call him if I need anything. I haven't told him about Nancy's rant yet. I'm still trying to process everything she said to me. Okay, well that is absolutely unbelievable that she said that in that situation, but there is an update to this one as well. Here we go. Hey everyone. Not sure if this is how you do an update, but here goes. I just wanted to start by thanking everyone for the kind words and advice I was given. It was definitely the scariest moment of my life, and I've decided I'm going to look into potential therapy. Before the actual updates, I just wanted to explain a few things based on some comments I saw in my original post. First of all, the hardware store I work for is small just in the physical sense. It's still technically one of the big name hardware stores in the US, just not warehouse size like the ones with the orange and blue logos. 2. When I said that Nancy had emptied the vault, I wasn't referring to an actual safe or lockbox. The vault in our store refers to a small, double-locked room where they store the money orders the store receives from the big armored trucks. And 3, Nancy actually is the HR manager for our store. Because the store manager was out of town for the week, she was the acting store manager along with one other person who was off that day. My actual store manager, Nancy, and the third associate are the only ones with keys to the vaults. So, now for the update. To be honest, I'm not sure if I'm more angry or scared right now, but I got off the phone with my store manager half an hour ago. He was reviewing the security camera footage that was sent to him from his hotel room. I knew the store had cameras. What I didn't know is that we have cameras that face the parking lots. Some of you mentioned it in the comments, so you may not be surprised to hear that Nancy has been arrested for assisting in robbing the store. I can't go into extreme detail, but according to my boss, the gunman was seen exiting Nancy's car when she went outside. They spoke for a bit before walking back up to the store. I don't know much else aside from that the guy was her new boyfriend. What? This episode has actually been insane. Oh my gosh. I'm feeling so many different emotions right now. Confusion, anger, fear, etc. She traumatized someone 20 years younger for a few $1,000s. I don't know if she was chewing me out about the single mother thing because she'd hoped I would have done something to warrant getting shot over. All I know is that this woman who originally did my hiring interview is mentally insane. As I said, I think I'm going to look into therapy for this. It's just too much for me to process alone. My boss has offered me additional leave of absence if needed as well. So for now, I'm going to take some time off. And if I get any more info I can share, I'll further update you. And there's another actually insane post. What is it with this episode in particular? Just the most crazy post. What is that? What? A hardware store? Assisted robbery? Mad. I don't know if this really counts as entitled, to be honest, or if it's just crazy. Now, this was posted just 5 days ago, so as of yet, there hasn't been an update to this, but I'm so interested to see what happens as a result of this. This is absolutely ridiculous. I can't quite believe the level of stories that I've read in this one episode. Wow. What's really, really scary is that there was actually no need for her to say, like, she'd already achieved her objective, right, of getting the money or whatever it was in the vault. Why did she then say to you, OP? Like, why was she so angry and saying, why didn't you jump in and help? The only thing I can think about or can fathom in my mind is that she actually did want you to get involved so that there was an excuse for you to be shot, like you said, which is such a weird, like, mental thing to think of, but I actually can't think of anything else. If you guys can think of any other logic, not saying there is much logic in this story at all or from Nancy, but if you can think of any other reason as to why Nancy chewed you out afterwards, other than what I just said, please comment down below, because at this moment I can't, and that is extremely worrying. Nonetheless, I hope that her and her new boyfriend go to prison for a long, long time, and you get the help you need. That is terrifying. What an episode.